Our guest speaker, she's a gorgeous woman of God. She's a beautiful woman, in and out, and she's just got a steadfast. She's the lady that keeps it all together up there in the South Carolina area. So this young lady has done a very good job in building her business, and they are on track. You can always see the whiteboard behind them because they're always plotting and planning how they can build their organization bigger, faster, and quicker. They also got several RDs in their organization. And her husband today is not feeling up to it par. But then again, I tell you what, ladies, I love when I get women on here to share some opportunity. So without further ado, all the way from Summersville, South Carolina, the one and only Miss Darlene Evans.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Thomas, you have a way of making us feel so special. And shout out to Miss Sherion, because I thought about you this morning, because Mr. Evans came to me and he said, look, my throat is just not doing well. Do you think you can do the call today? And I said, and then I heard Miss Sherion say, feel the fear and do it anyway. And so I said, okay, why not? First time for everything, but really, y'all, you're looking at the power behind the throne. Yes, I do have to keep Mr. Evans in check. He's a lovely man, but he can be a piece of work sometimes. I just want y'all to know, but he's great. And he always shares wonderful information with us. Y'all, I'm telling you, I learn from this man 24/7. There are mornings that we're up 3, 4 in the morning talking about ACN, strategizing and things. And so I'm really fortunate to have someone who's been in the business for as long as he has, to train me on a daily basis. And, I joke around and I complain, but really, down low key, I really love it. So I'm really fortunate. And then we have Mr. Thomas. He has these calls for us every single day. And unfortunately, because I'm at work, I can't get on them like I want to, but I can go back on YouTube and watch them. So that's the beauty of it all, Mr. Thomas. We really appreciate all that you do. And we're all striving to be like him one day, just have that status and that heart, that it takes to do something like this, because everybody doesn't have this call right here. Everybody doesn't have access to this right here. And we really appreciate it. So with that said, now I'm going to try and, Mr. Evans sent me some videos, because he always has videos in store for everyone. But I'm really grateful to be on this call. And Mr. Thomas is right. The beach held me hostage for the last 3 days, but I did not complain at all, because sometimes we need that time, and it was nice. And I had an opportunity to look in the mirror like Mr. Thomas does and says, hey, you want to go to the beach today? Let's go to the beach for the weekend. And so we're fortunate to have 3, maybe 4 beaches that are local to us. None of them are more than 2 hours away, so we can just go and relax and do what we do. But today, my topic is going to be the conventions, because y'all, we have one coming up. And look, I don't know not one single top money earner who has had the success they have without going to the conventions. They're really important. I tell people all the time, you don't ever know what you're going to be exposed to, who you're going to see. You might have someone, like you, they might be in the medical field. They might be attorneys. They might be cooks. They might be dishwashers. We don't know who these successful people are going to be. But that's why we go to the convention, so that we can rub elbows with these people, so that we can talk to them, so that we can get their headspace, get in their headspace and see how they did what they did. And the fact that someone is there just like me means the world. That says a lot in itself. So our first video.
The best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he is in prison. In 60 seconds, you will understand how you are being held back by the Matrix. 1. Salary is the drug they give you to forget your dream. 2. School teaches you to follow rules, not break them. But only the rule breakers are the ones who succeed. 3. They don't want a nation of thinkers. They want a nation of workers. 4. You worked for 40 years, 8 hours a day. And after 40 years, you're still broke. Think about that for a second. 5. They teach you to be a good consumer, not a good producer. But in today's world, it's more important than ever to be able to create value. 6. They give you comfort through video games, movies, and shows. Comfort is a drug. Once you get used to it, it becomes addicting. Give a weak person consistent stimulation, tasty food, and cheap entertainment, and they'll throw their ambitions right at you.
Awful lot. I want to start with school. We think about when we're in grade school, okay? We're taught to get up at a certain time. And remember now, when you first start doing it, you're mad because you got to get out of your warm bed. You know, you got someone, if you're anything like me, I would sit on the side of my bed for about 5 minutes in the days, and my mom would come in and say, hey, are you going to school today? You know, but you know, you're upset because you got to get out of your warm bed and you're going someplace that you don't want to go. They teach you how to stand in line. You got to stand in line to, you know, in the hallway. You got to stand in line for lunch. You got to stand in line when you're ready to get home. Go home. Yeah. You got to wait until certain times to use the bathroom. You got to wait until certain times to go to lunch. They're grooming us for work. Okay. How do I know? For 20 years, I was at a company. Did I plan on being there 20 years? No. It just kind of happened. One thing led to another. And I remember I was just explaining to someone what I did for 20 years, and I heard myself talking about me, and I couldn't believe I was talking about me. But I started in a warehouse, huge warehouse, never been anywhere that big before in my life. And there were rats, cats, roaches, dogs, possums, raccoons in this place because it was a warehouse, okay? And they had to keep the doors open 24/7. So we would have these critters come in, and you could be picking parts or in a box, and one of them would just jump out at you, okay? Yeah, it was disgusting, but it was what I did, okay? Graduated to working on the lines. I helped build, we manufacture tractors, you know, John Deere, those tractors like that. Can y'all picture me doing something like that? Can y'all picture me using 2 air guns to build a tiller? Yeah, I did that kind of work, okay? And I heard myself talking about it, and I was like, how in the world did you end up at this place for 20 years? But it's because of the matrix, okay? We had a family to raise, all right? We had kids to raise. So I had to stay in that matrix because that's what I needed to do. And before I knew it, I was stuck, okay? And the only reason I got out of that was because there was absolutely nowhere else for me to go. Ceiling wise, I had reached that. They weren't going to pay me any more money. You know, the work was just getting more and more. So I had to make a decision. That decision was to leave that 20-year job. Okay. Yeah, I got blowback from it because how do you leave a place that you've been at for 20 years? Easy. You walk out the door. Okay. That's what I had to do. So let's think about that. That video says a lot. We have to remember where we are in life. Okay. Sometimes we work look, I'm talking to me. Okay. I'm talking to me. Sometimes we work so hard thinking that we got to work hard like that all the time. And I have to remember that my kids are grown. It's just me and Curtis here and Jackson. That's the only other person we have to take care of right now. So you have to pull back and go to the beach sometimes, wherever the beach may be in your mind. Okay. You have to go there because you have to reflect on your life. Do I want to be working? I don't. Okay. There are things that I want to do. I have grandchildren, 7 of them, that I would love to spend time with all the time. They call me all the time via video. And it's a shame that that's the only way I can talk to them right now. But we're going to change that because I need to be present in their lives. Okay. They need me. They need their Mimi. All right. So that's a goal. Another goal is just to be there for my friends when they need me. Okay. You know, how awful is it if you have someone who's sick and they need help and you can't because you got to work? Okay. Chicken soup. Sometimes that's all it takes. You don't have time to take chicken soup to a friend. You know, those are the things in life that we have to think about. okay? But that video says a lot. I really enjoyed the video. Thank you, Curtis. Another thing I wanted to talk about are the conventions, okay? Conventions are important. And we all have this person, it's another video, okay, that we know and we love, and she worked so hard to get where she is. I love her passion. I love her passion. She just was so thankful and grateful for this position that she got. And I'm going to play some of her video and then we'll piggyback off of this one.
You see, a few years ago, somebody told me I needed to be careful talking about God when I was on a big stage. But God has been too good to me to not give him all the praise and the honor today. Because I didn't start having a lot of success until I made a decision to stop trying to fit God around my schedule and fit my schedule around God. That's when everything started just happening for me. And today I feel so proud to be standing alongside my husband, 2 senior vice presidents in the same house. The first time that this has ever been done. And throughout my journey in ACN, people told me that black people wouldn't win big in this company. They said there's no way that black people can get to the top of network marketing companies like this. I said, what are you talking about? My husband's black. And what about Al Thomas and Oren Solomon and James Adlam? And then they started saying, well, there's no women at the top. Well, what about Debbie Davis and Leanne Gabriel? They paved the way for all of us. And then they said, well, there are no black women at the top. Well, what about Chanel Burton? See, this isn't a race thing. This is an equal opportunity thing. And I thank the co-founders for putting together this opportunity for somebody like me. I'm just a young woman from Baltimore, Maryland, where most times people feel like there's nothing good coming out of there. People ask me, is it just like The Wire, like they see on TV? But let me tell you something. These co-founders put together a company where it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter what your beliefs are. It doesn't matter any of that. Every single one of us can win in this opportunity. And I stand so proud today just to be the first to show the possibilities of what can happen through this opportunity. We are led by co-founders where they just don't treat us like business. This is a family. It's so crazy. I was going to talk about me taking him to Golden Corral now. But that's the type of president we have, where we can talk about anything. I tell people, I call him Mr. P. I'm like, Mr. P, he's my friend. We talk about everything, down to Beyonce. He's like a dad to me. And I tell Autumn all the time, thank you for sharing your dad with all of us. And Mr. Tony Cooper is like, he just fires me up every time I talk to him. He just has believed in me so much. And Mike Kane, he's like, he just tells it to you straight. You know, Mr. Keon Lomax, he said, where's all this water coming from? Where are these tears coming from? Because I've been holding them for 11 and a half years. I've been raised by men in this business. And they don't let me have emotions when it comes to the business, except for today, because this is like a big deal, you know?
Look, she said a lot of firsts, okay? Why can't we be up there? Why can't we be up there? Like she said, she's from Baltimore. And you know, she says there's nothing special about her, but there's a lot of special things about Miss Bird. She's a really, really special lady. But she wanted us to see that she's just a person, a married lady with a family. She's taking care of her family, okay? How many of us have that? How many of us are married with a family? We can be on that stage. And this is why we have to go to the conventions. Because if we don't go to the conventions, we can't see miracles like that. We can't see people win. You don't see people win where you on your job. How many of you get celebrated at work? Come on, let me see the hands. How many people get celebrated at work? It's very few, okay? We don't get those accolades at work. But here in ACN, you know, the co-founders believe in celebrating us. And that's what she was doing. And I love what she said. She made a decision. She made a decision to go ahead and get this done, okay? And a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of goals that we have, that's what it starts with, a decision. Mr. Thomas always talks about books, Think and Grow Rich. That's the first thing, a decision. You have to make a decision. And when I say you, y'all, I'm talking about me too, okay? We all have to make that decision, okay? There are countless successful people over and over and over again, day after day, that I hear that the reason they are successful is because they made a decision. So we have to do that. So conventions are key. We have to go to the conventions, okay? Now, who all's going? Everybody should be raising their hand. We all need to be there, okay? So that's all I have today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate Curtis asking me to do the call, and I appreciate you, Mr. Thomas, for allowing me to do the call. So with that said, I'm gonna throw it all back to you.